Well, hello.
Well, hello.
That we have our air purifier going on right now, so I'm actually going to step back here and turn it down a little bit. So just hold tight. I was going to do that and then I forgot.
But turn it just down a notch. Okay.
There. Now I can hear myself think.
Yes.
How about that? And do you like my chair? I like my chair.
Yeah, you didn't have to
It is my
stand
Captain
up
Kirk
at all.
chair. Nope. I can rotate 360 if I wanted to.
360 degrees.
Look at that. I can make important moves for things, right? You know,
Yes.
Look at that.
Yes.
Let's-
Very dynamic. You can.
Dynamic.
Yeah.
It's very dynamic.
Uh-huh.
So it's raining a lot.
Oh, yeah. We both chose long sleeves today.
Well, I told you, winter's such a short season
And we have passed the threshold to sweater weather.
to sweater weather. Like I told you, 65 and below is sweater weather, whether I feel like wearing a sweater or not.
No. How are you going to get through that closet?
I know, right? Got to get through
If
them.
you don't, make that call.
When I looked at last night, I said, oh, it's going to be in the 50s. Break out a sweater.
Which is nice. Nice to have a few days before Thanksgiving
That's
that
right.
are, getting us
And,
all
and I'm,
all
I'm
prepared for
introducing my dad to Las Vegas winter.
that. Okay.
I had to tell him, I'm like, okay, this is it. I'm like, prepare yourself for winter in Las Vegas because it's right now.
It's right now.
This is it.
We are in it.
57 and rainy. That's
We had a really mild fall, I
Yeah,
feel.
we did.
So
We did.
yeah, it's kind of nice to turn the page as long as you're staying dry and your roof's not leaking, and then
the parts of the church roof we know have some leaks.
there are. It's been pretty quiet for a while, but this has been some
Steady rain.
steady rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of at home, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. Like, now that I don't own a home anymore, if the roof leaks, I just call somebody and say,
Your roof leaks.
your roof leaks, because it ain't my roof, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay with that. So,
Let them know.
but so far so good. We're dry at the Bergeron house, but since it is a rental, just you call the landlord and say, it's your issue, not mine.
There's water.
There's
it's
water.
wet.
Yeah. So, but I think we're okay. So I was back at the dentist again.
Yes. This was a
Minor.
visit, but it was on the schedule, not an
It was on the
emergency
schedule.
visit.
It had nothing to do with the lack of teeth in my mouth. It had everything to do with the teeth still residing in my mouth. So had some more dental work done.
Feels like you're on the right track.
It is. So I'm gonna tell you, I've said this before. I'm like, 3 years ago, get X-rays, no problems, no cavities, no, everything's perfect. And in 3 years, I didn't go. Boom, I got bad teeth. I got I didn't change, start eating sugar all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on. You hit your 50s and everything falls apart. That's the deal. Even your
Yeah.
teeth. So I've
They say
learned
you
my
gotta
lesson.
Keep visiting.
Yeah. So they were filling some small cavities
Wow.
in the teeth. So lots of anesthetic.
Yeah, and you never had anything before all this.
Never a filling in my adult teeth until yesterday.
Until yesterday.
Till yesterday. Nothing.
Yeah.
All those years, nothing. A few in my baby teeth back in the day, but nothing since an adult, right? So we drilled and filled, I guess.
Drilled
would be
and filled.
And then next Monday, because of all this stuff going on, finally going to get a teeth cleaning.
And get your teeth cleaned.
We
And
did
then you're
all-
back on track.
Well, we're back on track.
Then you're going to get your regular 6-month visits.
Yep, and never going to
And-
miss again.
Never going to miss again. I guess
I've learned my lesson,
Now
and
we
so
know.
has my checking account.
it's learned its lesson.
It's learned its lesson.
It's good to teach that checking account a lesson
It
a
is.
time or two.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the same thing with our church building.
You know what?
Deferred
It's
maintenance is always more expensive, right?
Yeah.
And putting things off does not serve you or the bottom line very well.
Or we can just cross our fingers and hope it never rains again.
Yep. And that's how we've approached things in the past year, and has not really paid off. So
Tempting though, isn't
Tempting,
it?
it is. It is.
Tempting though.
So, and believe it or not, we've already had, just so you know, we've had folks look at the roof before, and there's not a lot of patching we can do. So when we do it, it will be pretty pricey. It's not anything we haven't looked at. It's just,
There's a lot of things that
yeah, it's a big project.
we've got a list.
We've got a list, and that's
Yeah.
on the list, right?
And that's on the list.
including the parking lot, because that needs to be.
Yeah, that's not getting any
repaved.
better. It's not
No,
healing itself
it's
at all.
Not healing thyself.
No.
Right. So it is on the list though. So we're people are calling me during broadcast. What's wrong with them? Yeah, sorry, Eric. Doesn't cut it. Don't call me when you're behind the booth. You can see me. We're looking at each other. Want to FaceTime me right now? What's going on? That's right. No, he was not calling me. But yeah, so like we got the list, and some of this stuff is we're slowly working on, as you know. So,
Nope.
you
Yeah.
know.
There's never. There's always a project.
There is always a project.
There you go.
Yeah, speaking of projects, yesterday, between the time I went and had a blood draw, I did that too.
You
yesterday.
did? Oh, I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, because I have my hematologist appointment tomorrow morning.
Okay, and
That's
he
on the
likes
regular.
to
He
he likes
wants-
to see your blood
Before he talks about my blood.
he talks to you.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
So, blood draw, sometime, then dentist. So in that in between time, I'm still working on getting the garage thinned out. Because when you move in, you just say put it all in the garage.
Yes.
Put everything in the garage, right?
Put everything in the garage.
So we're really getting towards
You got
the
a
end
tool
of this.
case out there too, right? So
Yeah,
that's all done.
which actually saved
that
me.
needs to stay in the garage,
And that
right?
saved me a lot of space because I had things kind of everywhere.
Oh,
So,
okay, so now that's getting stuff organized.
yeah, so that actually
Yeah,
consolidated.
that's good.
So I moved all of our Christmas stuff to an accessible place because we're going to need it soon, right? Trees and lights and
Yes.
ornaments.
You have not set up yet.
No,
I've talked to a number of
no,
people
no.
who, their Christmas trees are up.
I don't want to know any names
Mm.
because I'd hate to have to bring a heresy trial in this season right now.
Yeah, you're the stickler. We talked about that on Sunday. You're the stickler.
No, I'm okay.
You're
with
okay, but you
after-
draw the line.
You got to have Thanksgiving dinner first. I don't mind Thanksgiving afternoon. If you've had your turkey or whatever, quesadillas, whatever it is you do.
So it's okay to put it up before Advent 1,
It is.
as long as Thanksgiving dinner
Has taken place.
has taken place.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few who they've had Christmas trees up for a couple weeks.
Very disappointed. Very disappointed.
He's very disappointed, church family.
Yeah. You got to wait. Delayed gratification. Make
It's a
the season
season.
even more.
Season of waiting.
See, I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, but some of the folks who put things up early are the same ones who take the stuff down on Christmas Day in the evening. And Christmas as a season begins.
We're dealing with not just a disappointed pastor. Am I getting a hint of disgust
No,
even?
no, we're fine. We're fine.
Fine.
Everybody has to answer to Jesus.
Fair enough.
You look concerned over there, Philip. Unfold
Yeah.
this train wreck. Yeah, exactly. No, I mean everybody can do what they want. I guess we'll be like the church in Corinth. Everybody does what they want.
Everyone
They'll be
does what they
fine.
want. Yes. Yes. They got
You
their
know,
own
that-
letter in the Bible.
Yep, that little over realized eschatology going on there. So. But
Wow.
yes, so I don't know why you wanted to ruin my afternoon by bringing all that up, but
But I did.
you
And
did.
here we
you
are.
just had to throw that in my face, So it's fine. Whatever people want to do, it's okay. The Bergeron house,
As for me and my house,
we're waiting until after Thanksgiving dinner. Then we'll do some stuff. I was asked today, like, so what are you doing for Thanksgiving dinner? My dad asked, because my dad likes meals, right?
yeah.
Says, what are you doing? What are we doing for Thanksgiving dinner? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I got another week and 2 days, man. Like, don't worry, we'll eat. That's what I told them. Like, we'll have something.
See, you don't demand a turkey meal either.
No.
You tend to not be a stickler on that.
I once got in trouble as a teenager, speaking of Thanksgiving meals. I had asked my mom if we could just grill out for Thanksgiving.
Burgers and
No, steak.
steak.
So a nice
A nice
steak and baked
Thanksgiving.
potatoes, like a typical. And we were living in southern Illinois. So southern Illinois, we live 2 hours south of St. Louis. So the weather is infinitely warmer when you
Okay.
get that far south, right? And she reluctantly agreed. But my mom was a traditionalist. She always wanted certain things at certain, like always turkey.
Mm-hmm.
She was the kind of person, believe it or not, if she served roast beef, you had to have peas with roast beef. You do not serve any other vegetable than peas when you have roast beef. That's the way my mom was.
Really?
Yeah. So she
Huh.
reluctantly agreed. We grilled out this wonderful meal. The baked potatoes, the steak and sides and all this. And she gets halfway through dinner and she's like, I'm never doing that again.
Wow.
Yeah. So she was not pleased with a steak dinner. And then she said this, and this is a line that still is used in our house today. You made a mockery of
Mockery.
of Thanksgiving. That was the line. So
And you did that.
I did that.
Pastor
I'm
Ben.
responsible.
You are responsible for
Yeah.
that.
So if you think about breaking norms, that setting up Christmas early or not having turkey, I've broken norms before in my life.
Even you
Even me
have broken norms.
eating steak on Thanksgiving, it's a travesty.
Well, we'll put it to a vote next Thursday, whether you have made a mockery of this year's Thanksgiving.
I get the feeling I'm going to have to do something traditional.
Okay.
So, but I don't know if we're going out or if we're staying in. I don't know. That's what he was asking. What are we doing? I'm like, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm like, I got a lot of miles to go before I, cross that bridge. So, last Christmas though, I mean, just 11 months ago, where I ended up eating Christmas dinner?
I do not.
I ended up at Village Pub.
The Village Pub,
Yeah.
huh?
You want to talk about a Vegas Christmas? That's a Vegas Christmas right there. End up at Village Pub on Christmas Day.
And how was it?
It was very fine.
Was it?
It was fine.
That's terrific.
Yeah, it's if you know Village Pub, then you know what you're getting.
Okay.
It's like, you ever been to Village Pub?
I don't think I have.
Okay, well you should.
Yeah? On Christmas?
No, just some other time.
Okay. Everybody's looking for a fine Christmas dinner.
Yeah. Well, we were tired. We had worked, you and I, and, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. I got home. I had to, make some breakfast for folks. And then I was like, we're not doing anything other than going out. And it was like, let's go to Village Pub.
Okay.
And believe it or not, the place was packed.
So you had Christmas service, you went home and made breakfast for folks,
Yeah.
and then you went out
In the evening.
in the evening.
In the
Okay.
evening. Yeah. Village Pub. They had a turkey dinner. All the trimmings. How about that?
I think that says it all. Do we have any more for today?
No, I think that's a lot, right?
I think that's a lot.
We've covered a lot.
We've covered a lot of ground. I don't know where else we can go from here.
So I think I know where we're gonna go.
Okay.
We had a great song on Sunday morning at 11 that has a little bit of nostalgia baked into the song, but the theme of the song is more than just the title. And we want to talk about that a little bit. So let's go back to 11 o'clock. Let's listen to the song, and then we'll come back and chat about it.
Changing me, red letters coming off the page, flooding my heart with amazing grace.
quite the song.
For the Bible tells me so. Jesus loves me, ain't no doubt. So I'm gonna keep on talking about. Oh yeah, every one of those Sunday sermons, every time the choir would sing, I could hear my Savior call, telling me how much He loves me. No matter what the world throws at me, I know His word is true. All started with some hard stirring, spirit moving Sunday school. Devil gon' try and take me out of that church, but you can't take the church out of me. Devil gon' try and take me out of that church, but you can't take the church out of me. Come on. Devil gon' try and take me out of that church, but you can't take the church out of me. Devil gon' try and take the out of that church, but you can't take the church out of me. Oh man, you guys sound awesome today.
Song.
So it was released in 2021 by a woman by the name of Ann Wilson, not to be confused with the Ann Wilson from the rock group Heart.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that Heart? Is that's Ann Wilson too?
Ann
huh?
and Nancy Wilson, yeah. That's not that Ann Wilson. So this Ann Wilson out of Nashville co-wrote the song with Ben Glover and Jeff Soika. So this song in 2021 peaked at number 5 on the Hot Christian Song chart. So pretty popular song.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it came out a few years back. So.
Yep.
Yeah, but good song.
So, the title of the song is Sunday Sermons, but it's really not about Sunday sermons. And it's really more about if you grew up in the church and you had, and I'm not saying everybody did, had a positive experience growing up in the church. People who cared for you.
Yeah.
People who
Which is
watched
what the
over
church
you.
is. It's that community.
The
It's
best of the
connection.
church,
It's
right?
yeah.
And even if, you moved on from that church, but you remember as a kid you were watched over and cared for, and you remember singing hymns, and that's really what this song really talks
That's
about.
how I
is
take
this-
it too. Is
this
it's
calling and this acceptance, and it's what every pastor hopes every church is like, that it is loving and caring and accepting, and especially for the young ones who are involved in church and feel like that's a safe place, right? Because she's reminiscing or having a nostalgic moment about growing up in the church, and yet it's way more than a Sunday sermon by any stretch of the imagination, right?
I believe that what we're seeing there is it's about the community, it's about the connection, it's about everything that surrounds us, and certainly one element that we enjoy of the service.
Yeah.
But there are it's the community. It's not just the hour on a Sunday
That's
morning
right.
or it's the entire
Or one thing. Yeah, it's all
entire community that connects us throughout the week, throughout the every day.
And I think that's really the song gets to, and she's looking at it from growing up in the church, but it certainly would apply to anybody at any place in their life, of knowing that the church is a place you can go and be and not second guess and find rest for your soul. I mean, to use the words that I shared on Sunday is, come and learn from me, and find rest for your soul. And I think this song really gets to the heart of that and the calling that God lays on us. And, when you think about, I'm trying to find it. I could hear my Savior calling, telling me how much He loves me, and no matter what the world throws at me, I'll make it through, all because of those heart-stirring, spirit-moving Sunday sermons, but all of worship itself. And I was just thinking about some of the calling that God lays on the church, not only to be the people of God, but to move beyond the borders of one's church, but to be connected to the church. And the first place that made me think about was the calling of the first disciples. Jesus was forming the church. I mean, whether
Yeah.
that was expressed that way or not, literally Jesus is forming the church with the first calling of the disciples.
Right. And yeah, they don't. I mean, they can't know exactly
No.
what the journey is going to be like for them,
No.
what it's going to look like, but they want to follow Jesus, and that's the church.
And so this is what happens according to Matthew. And if you remember from 2 weeks ago, Pastor Brian helped kind of fill in the blanks on this story because there's more to the story than what just happens here. And you preached a little bit on that.
I did.
backstory.
Kind of went back to
Yep.
the call story of the disciples.
Yep. So as Jesus was walking beside the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon called Peter and his brother Andrew. And they were casting a net into the lake, for they were fishermen. Come follow me, Jesus said, and I will make you fishers of people. And at once they left their nets and followed. Going on from there, he saw two other brothers, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John. And they were in a boat with their father, that is Zebedee, preparing their nets. And Jesus called to them, and immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. And so this early calling to be the church, and if you read it just without thinking about a backstory, first of all, I would hope skepticism would jump in, because you're like, some guy comes along and says, hey, follow me.
Follow me.
And leave your livelihood behind, and the fact that you have to pay bills, and you got a loan on the boat, and you got a wife at home, and you probably have kids, but just let all that go and just follow me.
I hope people can, actually,
Right?
that it's okay to think a little critically of that, because when we don't, it's hard to not read these stories and just imagine people with halos on their head and
Yeah.
they were perfect all the time, and
Yep.
until they make a mistake and they deny Jesus, and then it was just like, you stop seeing them as real people.
Real people, that's exactly right.
And I really feel like, to be drawn into the story, okay, you've got to imagine this. Imagine you were that person. What would it take?
And,
To drop
and what
everything.
you talked about 2 weeks ago was Jesus was teaching in the synagogue in Capernaum, which is
Yes.
on the Sea of Galilee. And Peter was a part of that synagogue, and he saw Jesus teaching, and he saw his preaching. And then he invites him over to the house, and
Yeah.
he heals his mother-in-law.
Right. So
And
they had this
this
incredible
experience.
background, and Peter wasn't following him yet.
No.
I mean, he was in some sense, but not. He hasn't dropped everything.
Everything.
He hasn't.
Peter heard Jesus teaching, then he saw miracles, and then you could probably see this story in its place that, then the next day, in quotes, Jesus walks by them and says, you guys need to follow
Peter,
me.
I want you
And at
to,
that
yeah.
point, and I'm going to use an old term, the pump had been primed.
Yes, another.
Yes, another
Yes.
old guyism. Prime the pump, and at that point they were ready to respond.
Yes.
Otherwise, you go, who would do such a thing, right? Like, it
We should
doesn't
think about that. We
Right.
should, yeah.
connect the dots.
Connect the dots.
Connect the dots.
I like that.
So we see the calling to be the church, and there is something that who Jesus is, and in this story and what he will do, it draws people in. And when we are living in the sweet spot of the gospel as church people, then people show up and go, oh, I want to be a part of that. When we become exclusive, when we only want to talk to our friends, when we ignore guests in the building, then folks don't want to come back. But when we live into what Jesus is about, all of a sudden people are like, I want to come and be a part of this and experience more of this and be connected. I mean, even on Sunday at 11 o'clock, we had a first-time guest with us. And we typically every Sunday we have somebody who walks through the church for the first time, most weeks. And we always make it a point to, let's talk to anybody and everybody who walks through the door, especially if we don't recognize them. And so person was part of another church. They didn't feel connected. They weren't bad-mouthing that church. They're just saying, I just didn't feel connected. And she said, I started watching you guys online. And she said, I was moved by what I saw, so I wanted to come in person. And then, my natural inclination, and should be all of ours, is oh, there's somebody I don't know, I should go meet them. Boom. And they were glad that they came.
Yeah.
They were glad that they were with us. So
Be able to find a community, find a place.
find a place.
And exactly what this song is referring to, the
Sun-
church.
Yeah, the calling. The calling to be a part of something bigger than yourself. And now I want to go back to talk about being the church and talk about Sunday sermons and being connected. I want to go back to that verse I mentioned on Saturday and Sunday, but I want to give it, I added a little bit more than just a very tight reading of that verse that we shared at all the services. Well, we didn't. Yeah, I shared it in the sermon at all services, but I'm going to give you a little bit more. I'm going to ask Pastor Brian to read this from Isaiah chapter 1.
Yeah, the first chapter of Isaiah, verse 16. Stop doing wrong. Learn to do right. Seek justice. Encourage the oppressed. Defend the cause of the fatherless. Plead the case of the widow. Come now. Let us reason together, says the Lord. Though your sins are like scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they are as red as crimson, they shall be like wool. If you are willing and obedient, you will eat the best from the land. But if you resist and rebel, you will be devoured by the sword. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken.
So earlier, this past weekend, I talked about the importance of learning in our core value. And I pointed to this and said, this is where God speaks up to the people of Jerusalem and says, you're not living into what it means to be a follower of God. And then he defines it, right? He's like, seek justice, encourage the oppressed, defend the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widows. In other words, for anybody who struggles, we should be helping them. Mm-hmm. That's what it means to be the people of God. And so then he says, let us reason together. Let's fix things. Let's figure this out so that you are, once again, in that sweet spot of what it means to be the people of God. And then, and this is what I didn't have time to get into, God says, look, we're all going to struggle, but you can find forgiveness. Your sins like scarlet, they shall be white as snow. God's like, there is forgiveness to be found if you've been living one way and not inside of kind of God's plan. You can find forgiveness in that. And he says, and if you are willing to kind of get back where you need to be and where the blessings are, he said, you will eat from the best of the land. In other words, your life will be abundant. He says, however, if you don't want to, and let's go back to those words, if you don't want to seek justice, and if you want to hurt the oppressed, and if you don't care about the fatherless or the widow, well, then fine. You can resist. You can rebel. And then he says, but you will be devoured by the sword. And when I hear this, what is really clear to me is people automatically think, God's coming down and, kicking butt and taking names, right? But what it really is it's all self-inflicted. Meaning, God's like, if you want to be blessed, if you want to be forgiven, if you want to find abundance in your life, live into my plan. He says, if you don't, God's not going to make you. Obviously, we have free will. But he's like, it will not turn out well for you, not because God's sabotaging you, but because if you insist on doing things your own way and you insist on being large and in charge and power hungry, and you have the need to feel more important and better than other people because you're good and they're bad or whatever you define, eventually the chickens come home to roost. It's self-inflicted. And then when you get leveled, you go, oh, why did that happen? Or even better, why did God do that to me? Like, you know what? That's all self-inflicted.
Yeah. And
so the choice really is, do I want to do things my way? We did that song a couple weeks ago. Or do I want to think about maybe there's a better way that not only blesses me, but also blesses other people in the process? And you go, okay, God invites us to learn a new way of living, or we can continue to do things our own way, but when it blows up, don't be blaming God for that. God's already invited you into something better. And if you've decided to say, no, I'm going to choose my own adventure, right? Then that's what happens.
I mean, the way he puts it here is you'll be devoured by the sword.
Yeah. It just,
And that's what happened to the people in ancient Israel.
Yeah.
And I mean, in
And
our
sel-
lives, it can be pretty destructive too.
selfish and greedy people eventually are by themselves and alone and sometimes even wrecked, not because of anything God's doing, but because that train only goes so far before it crashes, folks. And so it's like, follow the invitation or go your own way. And when you go your own way, it's going to be a shorter ride in a lot of ways. And so the invitation isn't this or judgment. God's saying better life, or just do things ways you've always been doing it, but don't be surprised when it doesn't work out. I mean, you want to be hateful and mean and circle the wagons and all that kind of stuff, and you think that somehow that will bring abundant living to you. It may be in the short term as you hoard resources, but eventually it all falls apart. So the invitation for the long haul is to care for those around you. In other words, be the church, be the people of God, and see how much better it is for you.
Yeah.
Now, I want to close with this. This is from 1 Corinthians, and it's a very specific passage about a very specific thing. And there's a moment in 1 Corinthians when Paul's like, look, Jesus is coming back soon. Like, there's no reason to upend the social order. Like, Jesus is coming back. It could be like in an hour. Like, so let's not try to remake the world here. We're just waiting for him to show up. And that was really what they thought was going to happen. Jesus was going to show up anytime. So when Paul is writing to the church in Corinth, he says, just wait patiently, essentially. But I want to reframe that. But let me read it to you first. Nevertheless, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Nevertheless, each one should retain the place in life that the Lord has assigned to them and to which God has called them. This is the rule I lay down in all the churches. And then he follows it up or summarizes it in verse 29, chapter 7, by saying, what I mean, brothers and sisters, is that the time is short. Clearly, Jesus did not return then, even though there was a human expectation that would happen. But I still think that the advice is good in the sense of let's live every day like Jesus could come back in the afternoon, right? Let's just be ready for that.
That's the calling. I mean, over and over, that's exactly what it says, is live prepared. Live each day.
Yeah.
Prepared.
And make the most of it. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't better yourself. But at the same time, there's a little bit of, in all of us, the grass is greener over here than where I'm at. And Paul's really saying, you know what, just stay in your own yard, right? And maybe you need to fertilize that yard versus envying the one next door, right?
Yeah.
Each one should retain the place in life that the Lord's assigned it. Like, just, make the most of what you have, because that's really what it's about anyways, cultivating your own gifts and living life in that moment and realizing time is limited. Whether Jesus comes back this afternoon or not, all of our time is short. I blinked and here I am. I'm 55, right? So let's make the most of each moment and better ourselves and the people around us without having to be jealous or envious of, what's over here or what's over there. Yep. Embracing the church, even with our struggles that we're not perfect, but we just embrace the church we're at and try to do our best to love each other. And I think you can't do much more than that.
That's the calling, and that's enough too. That is exactly the calling. It's not a burden. It's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's living into a great story.
Great story. So we're glad you spent some time with us today. Stay dry out there. It's pretty wet, and be safe if you're going to be driving today. So take care. God bless you. We love you. Oh, and we got Bible study tomorrow. So if you want to join us online, we start teaching at 6 o'clock tomorrow
Turkey feast
evening.
before that.
Yeah, if you signed up.
if you signed up.
Yes, we gotta.
You don't want to mess with the stickler over here.
You'd have to answer to Linda if you showed up, right, and didn't sign up. So, anyways, but you're welcome to be a part of Bible study. So with
Yes.
that, we love
Come
you.
on
Take
down.
care. And Philip, will you play us out?